Hey, humanity is headed towards a dark night of the soul, and it's a good thing. Why do I say that? Because I have gone through a couple dark nights of the soul in my own life, died a couple times, so to speak, and I'm actually coming out of one right now. A year ago, I couldn't have made videos on this channel. It would have been too much. I had to isolate and reorganize and rise from the ashes, which is why we're here. And on a collective level, I can see where we're headed. An Aquarius, I can feel collective energies. Sensitivity is my gift. I can feel the environment around me, people, all that. I can tune in and feel what they're going through. And that's kind of what led me out here into the country. I had to move away from the city. It just felt too unhinged for me. I needed something a little more in tune with nature. That city life was getting a little too wild for me. And I think as a collective, that's where we're headed. As a collective, the cities are going to become so chaotic and unlivable that there will be a split. There's people that are gonna dig their heels in and figure it out, and that's fine. And then there's people that are going to move out and connect to nature, move into smaller rural areas, and realize that the peace that they feel out in nature is worth more than the race going on in the city. So I guess I'd like to break down the dark night of the soul a little more. When we go through the dark night of the soul, our identity collapses, our beliefs collapse, everything that we think was solid and holding us up falls through. And I've gone through this a couple times, and the last one I went through was quite the doozy. I didn't know who I was, what I am, what I'm doing, where I am. All my resources in my life fell through the bottom, and I had to completely surrender, which is the first step on a dark night of the soul. We have to surrender and accept what's going on, and surrender to trust that life is moving us in the right direction. And that can be difficult. It can be hard to let go of everything we once thought was true for us, and our minds go nuts. My mind did not understand, could not comprehend how everything falling apart was the best thing to happen to me. And on a collective level, we're going to see that play out. Why is it a good thing that everything has to collapse? Well, the reason it collapses is because it needs to be rebuilt on a solid foundation. Right now, the way we're living as a society is just out of control. We can't keep doing this to our earth. We can't keep monocrop farming and poisoning the soil and expecting us to live. The bees are dying. The crops are getting weaker and weaker. I think I read something once. You have to eat 20 heads of lettuce today to get the same nutritional value from one head of lettuce in the 70s. Everything, it's just not going to keep going the way we're going. It's it's just not. It's just the nature of this reality. We can't keep going the way we're going. And we have all the resources at our fingertips to create a new reality that supports one another. This whole idea of paying for gas and electricity, the whole grid system, all that can be basically free. We can have engines that run on water. We can have free energy. All these people that create these devices end up mysteriously disappearing, and that doesn't have to be the case anymore. And we're getting to the point where we can't keep perpetuating the way we're living now, and it's gonna have to change. So surrendering into accepting what's going on is going to be a major lesson for the collective, and even on the individual level. If you're going through a dark night of the soul, surrender, allow. It is the best thing you can do. It's going to get better. Our minds like to think that, oh, this is the way it is for the rest of my life. I'm just going to be this way. And as having gone through it, no, you can let everything burn, get to the ashes, and from the ashes, rise like the phoenix. It's possible. It is what your soul wants. Your soul can see things that your mind can't. Your soul can see through lifetimes. Your soul can see where you're going, what growth, what lessons you signed up for coming to Earth, and your mind has a hard time with that. But the soul knows, and the collective soul, we all know that we can do better than what we're doing now. So as our civilization as we know it begins to change and transform, more people are going to leave the city, more people are going to start connecting with nature. They're going to develop a spiritual practice, a spiritual understanding and awareness. And that's what this whole channel is about, really. Once you develop a connection to your soul, to your higher self, you can trust that to guide you and to create synchronicities and connections that you couldn't plan in your wildest dreams. The whole manifestation idea is kind of silly from a soul level because you're already orchestrating everything exactly as it needs to be. You don't need to use your mind to try and manipulate and control things. Like I'm all for having goals and dreams and even call it manifestation. You can go for all that, but do it playfully, do it lightly. You don't need to make it the end all be all of your life. I'd much rather follow what excites me, what gets me into a higher frequency, follow that as much as I can, rather than trying to manifest certain things. But that's a whole another topic. Something else that we can always take into account is just getting back to fundamentals, just taking care of yourself, self-care, self-love. It's another important idea on this channel. When you begin to take care of yourself, you'll feel better, you'll have more energy, and you'll have the space to connect to your higher self. If your body is sick and you're in a lower frequency, you're in fear and anxiety and panic, and you don't know what's coming next, you're not gonna be open to these downloads that are available when you create some space. So self-care, what does that look like? It can look like grounding on the earth. It can look like going for a walk, meditation, contemplation, exercise, movement if you're available and if that's a thing. Lifestyle, what kind of food do you eat? When do you eat? What kind of water do you drink? What is your sleep like? There's so many things that you don't need to do, but you can do. You are available to do to take care of yourself that raises your frequency and allows you to really become embodied into your highest potential. When you think about what your highest potential looks like, what would it feel like to be at my highest potential? What would it look like? How would I act? Start envisioning those things, feeling those things, and then implement them. That's the integration aspect. Start integrating all these ideas into your life, and you'll start entering into new ways of being that you probably haven't seen before or thought of before. It just grows, and you start, perspective just gets higher and higher, and you see things you haven't seen before. Frequency changes, your life changes, the people you come into contact with changes, everything changes. There's one prophet from India, I'll leave with this. He said, there'll come a time when you're walking down the road and you'll see a campfire, and you'll just be happy that another human exists out there. Now, there's a lot of different ways to interpret that, and I think what he's saying is humanity is going to get to the point where they just appreciate another person. Does that mean it has to get so bad that everything collapses and we go back to campfires? Maybe, maybe not. But what it does mean is that our frequency is going to raise to the point where we see we are a unity. We are all one consciousness. We are all one being, and we need to take care of each other and act like it. And when we do, we will be in love. We'll be all on team love. So that is what I feel in the collective energy. I felt like sharing that. If you would like private one-on-one consultations about diving deeper into your gifts, your story, how you can implement this lifestyle into your life, reach out, check out the website, send me a message. I'd love to contact you, connect with you. Much love.